peace, I want to say. I feel very called to open up space today with some sound. I do have some lavender incense by the side of me as well, and I got the message to share that it's going to be really important to calm the nervous system, and it was 33 on the timer there. And when I sat down to film this, it was 17:17 on the clock, and I was guided to look outside and see a space between two of the big shrub bushes, like trees outside. And this idea of when we're pushing and forcing for something, sometimes we can't see a way through. And if we just take a step back and allow for things to open up in front of us, we will know exactly which pathway to take, which I think is a really significant message for some today. I brought in a lot of things into the spread today, a lot of crystals that I use personally and within magical workings. And I was getting this message set forward from the angels today, and I was told I was going to sit and speak with them after this reading and have some time with them. And they really wanted to come into this space today and to share with some. And this is definitely something that I've been having to work through and break down behind the scenes. This idea of being a spiritual person here, being a being that feels like they tap into magical workings, however you want to label it. And that still being something that is seen as positive in the eyes of the Most High, God, the angels, etc. You know, we're breaking down the barriers of what once was in recent history. You know, I say that loosely because I really do think that we've been lied to quite exponentially, and there is a space between us all now where we're culminating new expressions to step forward. And I brought in this pyramid specifically, which I always really resonate with as ancient Egypt. So I think that's going to come through in the reading today. And I was seeing this as a wedding. I've got a real dear soul sister who is getting married in a couple of days' time, actually on May Day. And I was seeing this as, you know, the offering of that union. So that feels significant for someone. But I'm going to pull some oracle today. This is going to be a continuation from yesterday's message. So if you haven't seen that, I will tag it in the description below just in case you don't watch this in real time, whatever that means anymore. But I'm pulling from the Gateway Light Activation Oracle from Kyle Gray. And yeah, I'm going to share that actually. I had a feeling that I was going to. And I love the insert on the side, on the inside of this box. And I say it to myself often, actually. So I'm going to have this here so that you can screenshot this for yourself. And the other insert in the box says, as above, so below, so within, as without, connections to heaven and earth through the stargate of the heart. But I'm going to let you say this one for yourself. So angels, spirit guides, teams and guardians, what message do you have for the collective today? And my top just nearly exposed me to myself. That feels significant for someone. Being exposed, feeling exposed right now. Yeah, amazing. 322. Soul Star activation, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. And I feel like this is the space that some of you are conflicted in right now. 331 on the clock there. Wow, angelic frequency, angels are here. You are safe, potent connection. You can't write it at this point. Yeah, Order of Melchizedek. Oh my gosh. Embrace the light, mission uncovering, don't give up. And I forgot that this card even exists. So exactly what I've just said before pulling cards has just come out in the cards, and we all know how cards work, but sometimes it really is just so on the nose that it still surprises me. So we've got ancient Egypt stepping forward here with fulfilling soul contracts, and I've completely forgotten Horus, the deity Horus is stepping forward with this. And we've got angelic frequency here and the Order of Melchizedek, which comes from the Bible. So this is about breaking down the barriers between two worlds and bringing them all into a very streamlined understanding. And I think that this is going to be quite difficult for some. I feel like some of you perhaps have been on this pathway, this journey already, myself included. And we're really pushing up against the wall of collective consciousness. And is it bismuth? The crystal that this connects with. I'm seeing it in my eye, but I can't remember what it's called. And it's making me think of certain intoxicants too, and how they make you see certain things like that. So that's being brought forward there for some. And this idea of being in an altered state of consciousness, I think, is important for some right now. And I was very much feeling this presence of hermiting away just to really come back to self and allow for you to be in your own energy. And for us in the Northern Hemisphere, you know, the sun is shining, we want to be out and about. And I think it's about finding that fine balance between that time of being out and socializing, but really coming back to self. And I'm being drawn to the mosaic in the background here, which I've never, ever looked at before in this card. And I'm seeing this as a plectrum too. And I think you are discovering who you are at your DNA, at the soul center of your DNA. You are now unlocking deeper soul's gifts for some of you. So you might want to be working with your macabre and spinning that. There is a whole heap of videos out there on YouTube to do that. But this is about you trusting in your own personal guidance and your guidance alone. And for some of you, I think you've really struggled with your pathway already, whether you consider this to be spiritual or not. We are all living spiritual lives. And I think I got a bee in my bonnet a couple of years ago, because I very much felt like people were separating me from their experience and getting annoyed at me that they weren't having the same experiences as me, but they actually were, but they just were looking at it through a very different lens. And I wrote in the description of this channel, you know, turning the mundane into the magic, because every single day there are magical experiences. You just have to be aware enough and conscious enough and sometimes still enough to be able to see it and witness it. And I knew that the people that were stepping forward to me and getting frustrated with me, not me, but spirit, but getting frustrated, I knew that they were having the exact same experiences as me. It was just coming through perhaps for them in a very different way, or there were aspects to the energy that they couldn't quite reach yet. So they didn't feel like they were part of that whole experience, but they were. They just had to be still enough in order to receive. And I feel like that might be a strong message for someone out there. Yeah, that might be a bit prickly, so apologies in that. Persevere and Silver Ghost. And it's so funny because I kept seeing the thistle in my mind's eye earlier, and I've got one tattooed on my chest, and I thought, why is this stepping forward? So there's going to be a deeper message of that for someone. Acceptance and Evening Primrose, and bees have been coming out a lot to see me this week, which is really beautiful. Commitment, Wolf, Evening, and Primrose. And I was hesitant to use this deck because it has like a shadowy energy to me, and I don't know why, because I really love it. And it is the nighttime, I think it's called the Nighttime Oracle, Nighttime Flower Oracle or something like that. But it feels shadowy to me at times, and I really wanted this to be a reading for the higher light. But I think there is a deeper message for myself in that process too, and understanding that as much as we are light, we also have to be shadow, and sometimes that shadow has to be integrated in such a way that it might be quite alarming to some. And I can very much vouch for this energy. I feel like the past 3 years of my awakening, shall we say, it was just very dark and very harrowing, and I think a lot of people were quite scared, to be honest with you, around me, because they didn't know what was happening. And it's interesting because I put on socks before sitting down to read, and I knew I was going to share this because these socks are actually my auntie's that she gave me, and they've got hot air balloons on. And I've been told this idea of, you know, sometimes when we're on our awakening, we are in the hot air balloon, but to other people it looks like we are just free falling in the air. But to us, we are in the hot air balloon. We feel like we're safe, even though we are thousands, I don't know how high hot air balloons go, but thousands of miles up in the air. I don't know if that's possible, hundreds of meters up in the air. But to them, it just looks like we're free falling. So there is a message there for some to trust in where you are. And just because others can't appreciate where you are, it doesn't mean that you're not safe. So do what you need to in terms of protection, and that was very much stepping forward today to share as a message, which is why I brought this obsidian feather in as well. Make sure that you are protecting your energy, but if something feels good to you, it's allowed to be good to you. And what is good for some isn't good for others, so you have to just trust in where you are and what that means to you. And I think that there is a deeper connection to that message. So if that resonates for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. But I'm going to move on, and I'm going to move into some tarot as well. And I was toying between using 2 different decks today. I was toying between the Queer Tarot and this one. So there's something about bringing things into Technicolor or keeping it and playing it safe. So let's see what that message is. The World. 6 of Cups. The Hierophant. And the King of Wands. And I was enjoying the sound that the cards were making there. For some of you, you know your pathway forward, but you are absolutely terrified now that you have come face to face with it, because you're afraid of what this is going to mean for your life. Perhaps this, you know, that this involves more of an awakening for you in aspects that you truly have never touched before. And I want to say that you will always be supported and you'll always be safe. And whatever you're teetering on the edge of, whatever this means to anyone here when you hear this message, it's going to make you happy. And I'm seeing this as the steps of the tree of life. So for some of you, what you've been asking for the longest time in your life is now right in front of you, and all you have to do is step forward and accept the magic. And I feel like some of you are actually going to be brought new contracts to your table. And, you know, if that message doesn't resonate, then it doesn't resonate. But for those out there that it does, you know that you closed out some contracts before in the past, in the previous years. You knew that you said no to certain things. And now you're ready to be starting to write new contracts for self, because you are ready to open up to the next chapters of your life. And I kept hearing 10 years specifically. Some of you are now at the beginning of a journey that's going to take 10 years to come to complete cycle. And that doesn't mean that it's going to end, but something that you start now is going to come to completion in 10 years time, which might seem like a very, very long time, but for some, you are going to need that time to perfect it. And the energy that is stepping forward with that, as I said, you're going to protect it, perfect it. My fingers 11 my fingers went like this, and it just felt so good to be like, oh my gosh, like this is perfection. And for some of you, you are perfectionists. I'm definitely in that category, and I've really had to work hard to not be that. But some things, when I just align them, even when I'm creating something for social media and like a line aligns with a line and it just fits so perfectly, or there's some photographs that I've taken where like the petals and the can't believe I'm seeing this, I took this a long time ago, where the petal lines up with a feather that I was holding, and just that like jigsaw puzzle slipping together between that is just something that my brain and my whole body just really jives with, is what I want to say. So you can trust in what you are creating now, because in 10 years time you're going to look back and think, I'm so glad and I'm so grateful that I did this. And for some of you, I can't get away from it, this is going to be a family. And I feel like there is a deeper message there within trusting yourself and allowing for you to know that you're always going to be guided. And I feel like this is very much a personal message from me, because I had a word, you know, with my team of light this morning, and I said to them, please bring in my higher self, please bring in the angels, because I just really would like some clarity on some things. And, you know, it's been a while since I've been so close with my team, because a lot of things happened along the way. There was a deeper story there. If you'd like me to go into that, please do message me and I can for sure share that. But this is a space of knowing that you've got, for some of you, you've already got the bag. Yeah, 9 of Cups, you've already got the bag. And you're afraid that whatever is happening right now, whatever might have just come into your plane of existence, you're afraid that it's going to stop that. And it's not. It's just going to help that wheel turn even smoother. It's like oiling something. Yeah, and it's gonna make it turn faster in your favor. And that's so interesting. We've got the wheel and the chariot here with the light and the shadow. For some of you, you are the light and something else in your life is the shadow, and it's supposed to be that way. And coming together, you're creating something really beautiful. Yeah, that's going to help you get out of apathy. 1313. For some, this is what I'm speaking of is a very taboo space. Your life seems taboo to other people, perhaps, if you're a person that works within the magical realms. And I really want to figure out a new word to relay that message, because to me, magic is just nature. Magic is, you know, alchemy, but that is also just nature. So I think that to some, you're having to let go of the projections of others in order to be able to set yourself free. Yeah, and come into what you really want to be receiving. And I feel like there's something right in front of me that I can't see. And I've just been guided to close my eyes and to look into my third eye. So for some of you, this is a personal message to pause and to come back to center so that you can receive, because you're going to be gifted something that you need to run with. And this is the project of your lifetime, but it hasn't come to you just yet. So there might be some patience involved now, which I think is why this message was stepping forward with calming the nervous system and allowing for things to just flow. Because if you are to be too rigid right now, it's not going to come to you. And I really want to rub the little, I want to call him a name, and I haven't named him yet. I had to check, but I just called him the Abundance Turtle. So if you have a cute name for Mr. Turtle, and I want to say Mr. Froggy, but I've got a frog crystal that I shared yesterday. But if you want to name the Abundance Turtle, please do reach out to me, because I feel like he needs a name, but it might not come from me. But this idea of having to be still and, yeah, consuming herbs and getting into an altered state. For some of you, this is being out in nature and getting into an altered state. You know, this could be through meditation. This could be through all sorts of means, you know, whatever suits your lifestyle. But there is something that needs to come through to you, and you have to be receptive to receive it. Yeah, because it's going to take strength to say yes to this. Wow. Yeah, and you're going to continue to move forward with what you want to do. For some of you, yeah, you feel like this has been taken out of your hands. For someone, you feel like something's been taken out of your hands and you've just been put on the spotlight, but you're just in your head about it. So don't be in your head, because what stepping forward you actually truly want to experience. And for some, please go and be with the pyramids right now. If all of this feels like too much, pause here, go and be with the pyramids, and to someone that's going to make a lot of sense to them. There might be a space that you go to, yeah, so you don't feel alone. And for some, if you don't have this space, this is what you're being encouraged to create with the key here. This is going to help you unlock something deeper within self. Create a sacred space for yourself, whether this is in your home, whether this is in your mind, in your physical presence, some way, somehow. There is something that you need to create that is just for you, because this is going to help you feel, yeah, like you can share with others. This is so interesting. And for some, this is simply a space in the mind that you need to create for self so that you can share with others. Because for some of you, you feel like something is out of your hands now. You came in to create something, and now you feel like it's being gifted to others, but you're going to experience it together. And somewhere there is a grieving period that is happening, because you are seeing it almost like slip through your fingers, or seemingly so. That's how it feels. You feel like something has slipped through your fingers and is now off into something else. But what's meant for you can never not find you again, and what is truly meant to be in your life will never truly leave your life, is what I want to say. But this feels like this is either very energetically for some, or this is very much in the realm of the 3D, the 4D, in being present in here. Yeah, I can't get away from this. I shuffled and it came back out. This idea of the abandonment wound is really strong for some, and this is perhaps what you're working through right now, so that you can have everything that you desire. For some of you, you've never had something stay or be stable in the ways that you wanted it to, and this is what is approaching for you. So you have to figure out ways in order to make yourself feel safe now, so that you don't self-sabotage. So you don't self-sabotage everything that you've ever asked for. That's so interesting. So keep saying no to what no longer serves, this abandonment issue here. And I say that lightly, but I don't mean it lightly, but I'm breezing over it because I'm not going to go into it today. And this is something that is very, on the nose for myself, even things that I've really had to work through, some real deep karmic lessons with the abandonment wound for myself and my lineage. This goes back to slavery for my family. Half my side of my family's Jamaican, and there was so much wounding there that I had to process at a certain point in my life that it was just insurmountable to even try and put into words. It was crazy. So I'm grateful to have had those experiences. So when I say the abandonment wound, I'm saying it lightly here so I don't trigger you too much, but know that I understand you, I see you, and this runs deep for me too. Yeah, but allowing for you 1818. Yeah, numbers might be coming back. Numerology might be something you want to delve deeper into. And I feel like I want to just hold you, whoever this resonates for. So if you would like to work with me personally, how to reach me is in the description below. You can just shoot me an email. If you want to tell me about your life, I'm also open to witnessing and sharing that, whether that's, through words, through just an email, whether you want to hop on a video call. I'm here for that as well, because I feel like there is something that you need to say out loud, and for someone else to witness it so that you can grow. And for some of you, you need to tell someone your life story. And this is going to be the foundations of creating a happy life with them. For some, it wasn't the right time to share exactly who you are, but it's going to be soon, if not right now. But yeah, all of you are being encouraged to be in a hermit space for right now. Yeah, as you give yourself the time to process your own self and life. And for some of you, you are doing this so that when you share it with someone else, I'm saying this how this came in, but I'm going to break it down so that you don't have a breakdown in front of them. And it's not because you can't, but there's something about allowing for that vulnerability to come later so that you can share your story and, it just be something that gets shared and you both think, okay, we're going to work through this, as time goes on, but thank you for sharing it. And you can move on, because I'm hearing it's not time to get to the nitty-gritty of it all yet, but in time you both will. So take it easy. Yeah, we've got the Ace of Wands in reverse. So I've just shared something that is going to be really helpful for someone. So please do take that with you, because I think you're going to come face to face with this moment in time and you're going to think, you're going to want to jump in and save when you're not supposed to, because this is something that someone's been working through. No, this is something that someone has to work through on their own, as well as with your help, but they have to initiate where they need your support. This is what's going to be most helpful for someone. They're not going to want you to jump in and be savior, but they're going to bring to you what you need, or you're going to have to like read between the lines as to what they need. But because you are intuitive, you're going to understand. Sometimes when they say something, you're going to get a nudge or a ping from your spirit guides or your teams or your guardians, and you're just going to have what they need at all times until they get better at receiving. Yeah, Page of Wands. For some of you, this is, you know, a space of work and supporting others too. And it's interesting. Yeah, the Five of Swords in reverse. This is what you do for work for some of you, and you are going to get a deeper, you're going to get a deeper expression of this stepping forward, or you are going to have more of an influx of people stepping towards you for your assistance and your guidance, and all you have to do is actually listen, and you'll be given, you will mirror back to people what they need, but also you'll be given exactly what to say when the time is right. So if you don't receive a message, don't try and jump in and share something. I think you're learning to listen more than share. Which is not how you've been working up until this point, because you've really been having to give out advice. And now you are working in such a way where your energy speaks for you, and the pings that you get is coming from other people's higher selves predominantly, as well as their backing of their spirit team. But you are learning to tune into people's higher selves now, which is super interesting. Yeah, and this is going to 2-2 on the clock there. This is going to allow for you to travel further. And for some, you know, if you work in these realms already, you know, if you're a reader, if you divinate for self, this is going to allow for you to traverse deeper planes of that existence. And that's only going to resonate for some. But I'm being drawn to the witch's runes that I have here. And I'm going to pull, well, I'm going to draw 3. I don't know why I said pull rather than draw. And I always get these runes mixed up. So this is water, if I remember rightly. I'm going to have to double check. I don't want to give out different information. Yes, waves and water. And then we've got the woman rune, which I actually pulled forward with a twig earlier, then I was told to not put it down, but that was my message to pick up these runes. And then we've also got the sun. So this idea of making waves, for some of you, you've been afraid to be who you truly are because of potentially the backlash of other people. And if that's true, step into your feminine energy and just allow for yourself to flow, because if you tip into masculine energy, people are going to think that you are wanting to fight them. But actually, if you sink into your feminine energy, you're just going to be able to hold space for others. And like the situation that I explained a little bit earlier, you know, I was faced with people that were coming up against me for something that I could see quite clearly was happening. But if I would have shared that with them, it wouldn't have been helpful for them at that time. So there are some things you just have to ride out. And for some of you, I think this is where you're heading in the next few weeks, in the next few months of your life. There's going to be there's going to be a ripple, there's going to be a wave effect of something that happens that is going to put everyone into a tailspin for whatever reason, but it's not going to be anything to do with you, but you're going to help people get out of their own personal spirals, which is so interesting to try and bring through as a message. And how that looks is going to be very different for some, but I'm hearing, you know, something happens where it's like people want what you have, and it's going to be difficult for them to reconcile that they can't have it in the way that you have it, but they can have something similar for self. And this feels draining, this feels painful, this feels annoying, and your teams of light are saying they get it, which is why I think this angelic support is stepping forward. The angels have literally just put their hands on my shoulders, and they're like, okay, like this is what we are here for, this is what we are here to help you with. And the same is for each and every single one of you. So know that you are the guiding light for so many. This is why the sun has come out. And for some of you, it really pees people off, because you are like the most carefree, whimsy, just like childlike person. And for some, this really annoys them that you have what they need. You have the intuition, you have the wisdom that other people need, and they know that they're going to have to come to you for this, and it's upsetting them because they didn't want to have to do that. And for some, they've already gotten this call to come to you, and if this hasn't happened yet, people are going to, you know, if this is not the situation that you are in, people are going to feel drawn to you from all ages. from all spectrums, from all walks of life. I think you're going to have quite an eclectic mix of clientele that step towards you, whatever that looks like to you. You know, you could be, I don't know, I'm seeing hairdresser, beauty technician. You could be, you know, just working in retail. I didn't mean just working in retail, but you could be working, you know, in a place that isn't yours, where it doesn't feel like you potentially have a specific skill somewhere, but you actually are bringing skills forward. And I can very much vouch for this because I worked in hospitality for a lot of my life, and when I look back, I thought, why was I there? And I was always there to give a message, to be a guide. That's why I stayed there so long, you know. And now that I do what I do now, it's just so obvious to me that I've always been this person. It just looked very differently at certain times. So I'm sharing that in giving you permission to just be exactly as you are. And for some of you, you know that you're super intuitive, but you don't want to change your everyday life. You want your life to stay the same. You want to stay working where you want to work. You want to, I don't know, yeah, you don't want to change anything. And that's okay. You don't have to be this idea of like stepping forward as a guru, to be spiritual, I think, you know, is a trap in itself. And if you feel called to do something, then please do it. But for some, you are supposed to be the guiding soul exactly where you are. You don't have to change industries. You don't have to be or change anything in your life when you receive this information, because some of you are going to receive a very specific download. And this download is for you, but you're just going to express it in your life. So don't be fearful and panicky about what's going to step forward in this time with the angels, because for some of you, life isn't necessarily going to change that much. Just your radiation, yeah, like for some people, you are toxic to them because you are so pure. It's so interesting that came through. And I'm thinking about Chernobyl, and I think the anniversary of Chernobyl was a couple of days ago on the 27th, which really blew my mind because there's a whole string of synchronicities that connect to that for me. But you act as radiation. Oh, okay, I get it. Sorry, everyone. You act as radiation because you come skin to skin, face to face, eyes to eyes with someone, and it's like you are injected into their being, like into their DNA. Locking eyes with you, you are injected into their DNA, and they don't think that anything fazed them until later. It's not until after they realize like the devastation that you have caused somewhere, and they're like, oh my gosh, like how has this happened? And for some of you, I'm laughing because it's like people don't realize the impact you have on them until much later. And it's a really beautiful, it's almost like comical to some, because now they are seeing it so clearly. Now it's unavoidable to them, you know, what an influence you've always had on their life, but they just couldn't see it with their own. It's like they couldn't see what was right in front of them all along. And this is going to be a really beautiful unfolding for some, if you allow it to be. And do I want to bring more tarot? No, I don't, but I've got Judgment at the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, let your soul fly free. And apologies how this has come through, everyone, because there is like a lot of scenarios stepping forward. So I'm going to call this like situationships and such, I think, as the title, because I feel like whatever I've said is going to ping things into your own mind that you will know is for you within this reading. But there's some very specific energies that have stepped forward that I think are going to resonate for some later down the line. But just know that you are the medicine. And I've got this like rainbow frequency poking through here from the Melchizedek card, which I'm going to bring to the forefront now, I'm being told to do. Yeah, I'm going to put this here so you can see it. And I will tag in the community the description for the Order of Melchizedek card, because I think that that's important. I've got the Dragon Oracle with me here, and we've got Bliss 6 and Cherish the Day. So yeah, coming back to this, people are annoyed because you have fun, but you do really serious things, and it doesn't make sense to them because at some point in their life, they decided to be serious and you just didn't prescribe to that narrative. So they're annoyed that you get to have everything you want while it's being whimsical, and with the mermaid flashing up here, but that's not your problem. 14 and understanding, look at both sides. And for some of you, you've really had to look at all sides of a situation to be able to stay balanced, I'm being told. And you know, I'm being drawn to this like creature here. So if you resonate with the Starseed, you know, other alienation community, you've been allowed to see the other side of the scale, and now you are coming back home. The things that you have witnessed, the things that you have gone through have allowed for you to see the other side, and now you are coming back home. So this idea of perhaps living your life a very certain way for a certain amount of time, I'm hearing it's going to go from black and white to technicolor if you decide. And you know, if you want your life to stay the same, that is absolutely fine. You will have, I'm hearing you will have a good enough life, but you just won't have, you know, the exact same sparkle and expression that you could have had if you've moved into technicolor. Because I'm being shown a television, you know, at a certain point all we had was the grayscale of the television. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing that we've ever had, like this is perfect. But then the color television came in and everyone was like, whoa, like what is this? Like it was scary for some, and I get that. And I'm being shown me as a child, and I used to like sit so close to television, look at all like the little, I don't even know what you call them, like the little, I don't know, oblongy things that look like Mike and Ike sweets on the television. And there was a deeper notion to that and expression, which I won't go in today, but I'm thinking of MK Ultra vibes. If that's your understanding, then you'll know what I'm saying. But brainwashing. But there was this idea of, you know, if Technicolor is here, do you want to go back to black and white? And of course, we all love a classic black and white movie, but there is something about the Technicolor that is undeniable. But it's a matter of preference and choice. Yeah, so interesting. Wow, I swear I didn't look at this card. 9 in choice, understanding consequences. Yes, and the consequence of, you know, will you be happy if you don't choose Technicolor? Do you honestly think in your heart of hearts that you will be happy if you don't choose Technicolor in your life? And whatever that means to you, you know, it's going to mean something different for all. But that's what you have to think about. And I was very cool to bring in the Starseed Oracle that I've got to finish off, and I didn't think this reading was going to be so long or so deep in a message, so apologies everyone. Yeah, star beings are here. Abundance. When your heart's intention is to serve humanity, doors of abundance open naturally. And for some of you, this is the path that you've already been working and walking and working towards. This idea of flow should come easier to you, but your spirit guides and angels specifically are saying this is what they're wanting you to step into, this idea of just letting things flow and things opening up in front of you. And it's so interesting because I kept saying that tiger spirit was stepping forward, and now we've got courage. Live your life fearlessly with courage, strength, and determination, which is really beautiful. And then we've got the final card, which is channel. You are a channel through which the healing energies reaches the world, and you can't make it up, everyone. I'm going to put these cards in the description as well. And I knew there was going to be one more card, and I love the front of this card. I feel like I live here. This is where I live, and I didn't know how to make that make sense to other people. Yeah, but I had to be patient in order to be able to share that understanding. And now people are getting what I've been trying to say for the past 5 years. Patience, be patient, and allow for destiny to unfold at its own pace. And this idea of patient, abate the pace came through in a couple of readings ago. Abate before it's too late. So patience is the key right now to where everyone should be. But I feel like that's all the messages. I'm going to pull a couple of trinkets out of this lucky charm box, so just be careful those won't happen. Okay, so we've got the Russian doll here. Where does she want to go? Yeah, she wants us to be there. And then we've also got this pea magnet. And here one more. Yay, we've got mushrooms. So that's the idea of being outside in nature and being in an altered state for some. And I'm being drawn to the little turtle here. And I saw, okay, these last two, Totoro, that's going to focus. And then also this unicorn rubber that I've had since being a very small child. So that's all the messages today, everyone. If you would like an extended reading, please do not hesitate to reach out, because I think that I really vibe with whoever is here, and perhaps we're on similar pathways, and I'll be able to share, you know, my experiences too, and the things that I've worked through in order to be able to help you step forward. I now understand why I've taken the long route around to be back at the beginning of something that I started 5 years ago, because now I have the lived experience. So I hope this encourages you to not stop, you know, on your travels, on your pathway of your spirituality, your expression. However you want to live your life is exactly your choice. But now you're being asked if you want to be courageous and jump down the rabbit hole, or if you want to, you know, stay where you are. And for some of you, staying where you are is exactly where you need to be. But for others, you're ready to channel something different and a deeper state of abundance for yourself and for your life. And it's going to be fun, is what I want to share. the teams and spirit guides, teams and guardians and angels are saying it's going to be fun. I'm being drawn to the crow here, and I keep hearing a lot of crows earlier today. So the birds have messages to everyone, they always do. But that's all for me today, and I'll be back real soon. Take care.